Social isolation and loneliness have been linked to physical and mental decline in older people, so staying active and social as we age is important. U3A is an international self-funded organisation that offers learning, activities, sharing skills and volunteering to make the most of our later years. We spoke to Iain Cassidy, CEO at U3A, to find out more.
Iain Cassidy, thank you very much for joining us. Iain, social connections are so important, aren't they, as we get older? What are you doing to facilitate that?
Yeah, most definitely. So research shows time and time again that it's the quality and quantity of your social connections that are the best indicator for not just a long life, but for a healthy later life as well. And I think what the U3A model does is it allows those connections to be developed. What the U3A is a large number of interest groups that allow people to come together and to learn in a non-formal manner, to have fun, exchange skills and take part in activities.
And that's the thing, isn't it? Because education shouldn't just be for the young. It's important throughout our whole lives.
Yeah, definitely. I think the type of education can change throughout the life course, but certainly education itself is not just the prerogative of the young. So again, maybe if I explain the types of education, so everyone will be pretty familiar with formal learning, yeah, so kind of sort of teacher-pupil, classroom learning generally for qualifications, maybe for work or for new skills. What the U3A model focuses on is non-formal learning, a type of learning much more suited to older people in particular, where people are coming together and learning from each other. Again, it's that mutual aid prerogative, and that learning itself, yeah, you learn new skills, but what you're also doing is you're creating meaning within your life as well. I think what people don't often appreciate is that when you retire, you lose the social connections you get when you're at work. You lose the structure and often the meaning, but able to say, I'm a doctor, I'm an electrician, I'm whatever your work purpose is. So I think through taking part in learning, you can create new meaning. All of a sudden, you're a volunteer, you're a learner. You've got that meaning and that structure that allows you to be able to get the most out of life, as well as I said, learning those skills and improving your mental and physical well-being.
Can you give us an example of some of the things that people can learn?
Yeah, so through U3A, and I think the pandemic is a really good example of this, absolutely everything moved online, yeah. There's a whole swathe of society that didn't have the skills to be able to access that. That's where groups like U3A really came into their own. So groups of people coming together, sharing their fears, sharing their little bits of knowledge and contributing, I suppose, to the collective.
You touched on technology. I mean, digital exclusion is a danger, isn't it, as we get older?
Yeah, most definitely. So I think it's really important in order to be able to participate in society that older people have the right skills and experience to be able to do that. So as I mentioned earlier on, through the pandemic, the U3A was to be able to provide some of those skills. But digital exclusion isn't just about the skills to be able to do it, it's also about access as well. So are we considering, when people are developing the technology, the tablets, the phones that people are using, are we making sure that they're designed with older people's needs in mind? Limited dexterity, for example. Are we making sure that there's data packages available and connectivity available that older people can access at reasonable rates for them to be able to access?
Do you think ageism still exists?
Oh, categorically. I mean, you only have to look round about the images that we see on advertising and on various different media. Frequently it's about the frail, the vulnerable older person, an older person perceived or rather portrayed to be either the victim or frequently an object of ridicule, when actually kind of older people are frequently the bedrock of the army of volunteers that keeps civil society going. You only need to speak to most parents to be able to say the unknown hours of childcare that they provide and the real vital service they often provide in terms of unpaid carers for friends and families. And I think the U3A model provides a different lens to be able to look at older people, a lens through when it's shared experiences, shared learning, a lens that sees them as an asset, as a volunteer, as someone that can contribute towards society. And I think that's why it's really important that organisations like U3A are pushing to have older persons commissioner in England and Scotland to make sure that the voice of older people is considered at all levels of government and policy making.
Is that really important to you to sort of promote positive ageing?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, listen, I've been working in the older persons or the later life sector for about the last 15 years. One of the main reasons is my gran. My gran was the best model for later life that you could possibly get. I looked at her life and thought she was out all the time. She had loads of friends. She had a great life. Why would I not want to aspire to that? And I think it touches on the point you said right at the very start about social connections. Actually, she invested in social connections really early on, and therefore she had them throughout her life. And again, I think the U3A model allows people to do that, to really invest in that social capital that they've got and ensure that their later lives as positive as it possibly can be.
Iain Cassidy, thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for having us.